Welcome to Movies We Love Recapped. Today we visit again with the Rocky franchise and travel back to 1985 and the classic film Rocky IV. Before we start, please hit the like button. It's free and it really helps the channel. Thanks. Here we go. Arriving home to his beautiful mansion driving a sports car, the champ finds Rocky Jr. trying to capture his Uncle Paulie's birthday on videotape. As a birthday present, Rocky has purchased a high-tech robot to keep Paulie company, but Paulie is not impressed. Next we see Rocky and Adrian celebrating their wedding anniversary with a fancy cake. They snuggle together and seem happy. Rocky is content, getting settled into his new lifestyle. Apollo, on the other hand, is becoming more and more dissatisfied. While relaxing in his pool and turning on his portable TV, he sees a press conference held by the newly arrived giant, Russian amateur boxer Ivan Drago. He listens to the announcement of their plans to enter the professional boxing. His eyes ablaze, Apollo quickly heads for Rocky's house. Rocky is surprised to see his former trainer, and even more surprised when Apollo asks if he's going to fight the Russian. Rocky responds that he wasn't planning on it. "Great," Apollo says, "then I think I've come up with a plan." Meanwhile, Drago's manager, Igor Rimsky, is taking great pride in showing off the Giants' gym to the American press. The training room looks more like a laboratory than a place for athletes to get into shape. Rimsky goes on at great length at how all of this aids in improving their man's performance. When asked what the result of all this is, Rimsky replies, "Whatever he hits, he destroys."
Whatever he hits, he destroys.
That night, Apollo explains his plans to get back into the ring for an exhibition match with the Soviet boxer. Creed feels that this is America's big chance to make Russia look bad for a change. Rocky agrees to do his friend a favor and be in his corner. The following day, Apollo and Rocky march into the Soviet training facility where Creed openly challenges Drago to a fight. Soon, a press conference is held with both Apollo and Drago as the star attractions. Reporters are out in droves covering the announcement of this exhibition battle. Adrian tells her husband that she's got a bad feeling about all of this. But Rocky feels he's got to stand by his friend. All over Las Vegas, people catch sight of Rocky putting Apollo through grueling exercises, running, jumping rope, sparring. Rocky secretly has his doubts though. The night of the big fight, Apollo shows up in his old Uncle Sam outfit, while Drago appears with his usual hammer and sickle symbols. Tension fills the air. The bell rings and Creed is out, slamming away at the giant.
The left jab once again by Creed.
Apparently to no avail. The Russian behemoth starts landing solid punches of his own, and they're all painfully on target. By the end of the round, it looks bad for Creed. Rocky wants to stop the fight.
"He's killing you. I gotta stop this thing."
But Apollo refuses to let it end, despite the punishment he's taken. Round 2 begins, and Drago is back, brutally smashing the very life out of the American. Rocky wants to know if he should throw in the towel, but Creed won't let him, diving heroically back into combat. The Soviet is momentarily stunned, but he starts launching blow after blow to Apollo's head, nearly taking it off. One last horrible punch, and Creed drops to the mat, never to rise again. In the days that follow, Rocky is consumed with guilt, feeling he let Apollo die. Adrian can see clouds of vengeance in Rocky's eyes, and warns him to let it go. He tries speaking to the United Boxing Federation about battling Drago, but they refuse, as the Russian is still considered an amateur. At the press conference, Rocky announces that he is giving up his title and his professional status so that he can fight Drago. Christmas in Russia is the agreed upon date and place. In order to really focus on the fight, Rocky decides to leave America and travel to Russia for intense training. Adrian tries to talk Rocky out of it, but her husband is determined. Realizing that Apollo was right, fighters are a breed apart, and there are certain things they have to do. Arriving in the Soviet Union, Rocky, Paulie, and Apollo's old trainer Duke are provided with a ramshackle barn in the desolate Russian countryside, along with a couple of nosy secret policemen. Paulie and Duke complain a little about their living conditions and the biting winter weather, but they both recognize that it's just what Rocky needs. Sierra's training begins in earnest for the two warriors, although their methods differ wildly. Drago, ever attached to electrodes and constantly monitored by computers, works out with steel and chrome equipment. Like a machine responding to the flick of a switch, he snaps out punches at blinding speed whenever ordered. Rocky, on the other hand, uses only whatever material is available. He climbs ropes, does pull-ups on wooden beams, jogs past Russian peasants, and struggles mightily with a rock-filled sled, dragging it up the side of a mountain. He is almost ready, but he's missing one thing. Adrian shows up unexpectedly to support him emotionally. His heart is restored, and he is once again at his physical and emotional best. The Soviet arena is filled with sports commentators from all corners of the globe, members of the Kremlin, interested spectators, and, above all else, high emotion and excitement. The entire world is watching, waiting anxiously to see who will be the victor of, quote-unquote, World War III. Rocky, Paulie, and Duke enter the arena to the sounds of booing and jeering. Drago and Rimsky are cheered wildly. The Russian national anthem is played, and the referee gives the men the instructions and sends them to their corners. With the bell about to ring, it feels like all hell is about to break loose. Seeing Adrian in a front row seat, Rocky nods to her and takes off his robe. The crowd goes wild at the sight of his red, white, and blue trunks, the same ones Apollo used to wear, but Drago is unimpressed. The bell rings and the two rush at each other. Rocky gets in some early punches, but Drago is quickly on top of him. Rocky, though, is using all the skills he learned from Mickey and Apollo and is managing to stand up against the storm of fists. Drago can't believe that anyone can still be standing after such punishment, and his self-confidence wavers. Round after round flies by. Rocky scores a fantastic hit on his enemy's face, causing him to bleed for the first time, bringing down more of the giant's resolve. The fight becomes more intense. By the 14th round, both battlers are bruised and wounded, but neither is about to back off. As the two head back to their corners, the crowd is now wildly cheering for Rocky. Rimsky is thoroughly disgusted with Drago and, for all intents and purposes, deserts him. The bell rings again and the two men emerge out of their corners. It looks bad for Rocky though, all but dead on his feet. He takes one crushing blow after another from Drago. The crowd starts chanting, "Rocky, Rocky." Suddenly, Rocky comes alive and smashes away at the behemoth, knocking him down, and finally out of the ring. The audience goes out of their minds. Adrian runs up to her husband, kissing him. Paulie takes out an American flag and drapes it around his friend's shoulders, while adoring fans rush into the ring to lift Rocky up into the air, crowning him the champion of the world. The film ends here. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this recap, please hit the like and subscribe button, and I will see you next time.